The shadow's starting to get a bit longer. Week 10 of the NFL season is here, and we're underway on EA Sports.
Devon Achane to return it. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
They'll start on the ground with Wright. Up past the 30, second down coming up. When you look at this defense,
they come in the top 10 unit against the pass, currently 8th in the NFL.
This secondary has really developed into one of the strengths of this team. They diagnose, they cover, they run, they hit. What a nice team.
From the 31, here's a 2nd and 8. A man who is both a prep and collegiate star here in the Lone Star State, Devon Achane.
And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. A yard in the wrong direction makes 3rd down tougher. 3rd down and 9. To throw now. Here's Love. Pass to the sideline and pulled in. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. A big 3rd down conversion with a gain of 28.
Yeah, that's a pretty throw right there. It's man coverage on the left side of the field, and this is some really good footwork by his receiver. Able to create some space at the top of his route, and the ball's delivered right on time.
Now Achane on 1st and 10.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
This defense is a difficult one to prepare for, one of the best in the league. They'll come at you from all angles, and they did a nice job there stopping him for a loss.
Love looking to throw it.
Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted.
Well, that is a quick lesson on how difficult this defense is to throw against. An interception on their initial drive of the ball game.
Now we know why their offensive staff spent the entire week awake trying to prepare for this one, because you can't totally shy away from throwing the football, but at the same time you're looking at them and going, where are the weaknesses? How are we going to move it?
One of the top defenses in the NFL for a reason. We just saw one example right there. Now the first carry here for the running back. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
All right, so they got that one, Charles, against the center.
And let's remember how difficult it is for the center, because remember, he's got to snap the ball to put the play in motion, and sometimes you got that big guy on your nose. You got sometimes where he's coming at you at an angle. It's a difficult job for him to snap the ball and then execute his block.
So following the hold, they're in a bit of a hole here with a 1st and 20. Looking to throw. And it's a fumble. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. And defensively, maybe an opportunity miss there.
No doubt about it. When that ball's out, all you're thinking about as a defender is, this is our chance to make a huge play. Instead, he's able to recover his own fumble. And big sigh of relief, huh?
Yeah, usually those wide receiver fumbles, there's open space around for the defense, but not there. He hops right back on it. On play action, they'll throw. A short one going to be taken in here by Schultz. And he's going to get this inside the 30.
15-yard
yards on the play, first down.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there. And if you're going to give him that much space, he's not even going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up extra yardage.
They go play action here on first down.
And that one too wide and incomplete.
One thing that you're going to see from this offense is that they love the matchup with their wide receivers against this secondary. That one wasn't successful, but don't expect them to back away from attacking all game long.
Now a 2nd and 10.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll go down right on the edge of the red zone following a pickup of about 7 or 8. And forget about the run to set up the pass. They're just coming out throwing.
Forget trying to set anything up. They feel like they have the advantage. They feel like they have the matchups, and they're just attacking right now.
Yep, going to the air on the opening drive.
Here's 3rd and 3.
Now a first carry here for their running back. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. A stop there on 3rd. They could have held him to 3 on this opening drive. Now they have to bow their necks on 1st and goal.
And if I'm looking at this from the offense's point of view, that's a big-time pickup right there, and I go right at them with another momentum play. I go quickly and attack them, because right now they probably have their heads down a little bit since they didn't stop them on 3rd down.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on 1st down. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. A great effort there.
His 5th rushing touchdown now on the year. And the Aviators use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss.
And Smith not going to bring it out, so it's a touchback.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, wound up leading to a touchdown the other way. How do you approach drive number 2?
Going back to your game plan coming in, everyone has matchups that they like better than others, where they think they have an advantage. Dial up some of those plays. Try and go to those spots and get your offense moving.
So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. To pass, here's Jordan Love. Open man is Hill. He's got it. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
Well, this defense very strong in that victory from a week ago.
Yeah, what stood out to me on tape, the way they were flying to the football. So that tells me that they've got all their assignments down, and they're playing with extreme confidence.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Able to find the open man. That's complete.
And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. A big play there as they get the conversion on 3rd and 13.
And that's how you shake off the interception you threw on the opening drive. Come back and throw another strike and gain nice yardage. And I give credit to 2 people on this one. The man throwing the ball. And
rush coming, and he's taken down.
The The safety, Antoine Winfield, got in there that time.
The competition comes up in so many different ways. And right now, this unit, their competition is who's going to get to the quarterback the most times. I've got 5 sacks last week. We just saw their first one of this game.
Throwing on second and long. Love escaping the pressure right. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Love now. Flushed out right. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
That looks like it's going to be 2 empty possessions now to start this football game. I think they're going to have to sit down and talk about what worked for them last week in their win. Sometimes you over-game plan, overthink things, get back to what works.
And that one will skip out of bounds as the linesman will mark this thing right at the 15-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. They are, for the moment, the best team in football, 9-0 entering play here. And, Charles, I don't know if we'd call them a surprise 9-0, but the way that they have been winning definitely opened up a lot of eyes around the NFL. This is caught at the 20. Touchdown, Houston. A great play there. With a lucky number 13 touchdowns now on the year. And the Aviators are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. This time, the extra point up and good. And the lead now stands at 13. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And a great return, solid field position. He's up all the way to the 45-yard line.
Now that's the kind of return you're looking for. To get to that spot on the field, that allows you to do a lot of things on offense.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. Now they entered play on a 2-game win streak, and then they've got the open date on their schedule next week. So this is a group that's really looking to hit the break on a high note.
And this will obviously be a tough game for them, but go ahead and play this out with me, partner. If they win here and make it 3 in a row, they get to heal up after that. You've got to think that's an ideal setup and a worthy goal to play for in this one.
Right back to Achane on second down. Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2. They'll run for it with Achane. That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. 13-0 is the score after 1 on EA Sports. The offense is not leaving the field. They're going to stay out and go for it on 4th and 3. Now Love. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And this defense is going to get the football back near midfield, right at the 48. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen in you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
They work now on 2nd and 9.
They're going to look to throw.
And that one off the mark behind him. Incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the number one thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Offensive line wasn't set. There's the flag, and 5 yards back they go.
Quarterback has to look around and make sure that his team is ready to go. Sometimes the quarterbacks go faster than is necessary.
So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now, 3rd and long.
He'll look to throw.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line.
So this defense coming up with a takeaway, and maybe that's something that can bring a little life to that sideline.
Well, I don't want to say that they've been sleepwalking through this first half because that's simply not true, but you're right. We haven't seen a lot of fire from these guys, really, on either side of the ball. So maybe that's the catalyst that they needed to get them back into this game.
They'll get this up to the 47 and brought down there.
I feel like I could see what he was thinking on that carry. He wanted to follow that big tackle through the hole. Ended up only getting 4 yards on the carry. I think he had designs on that one being bigger.
Out of the gun is again to Achane.
And he's down right around midfield after a gain of 2, maybe 3.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Wright's got him. And oh, he's just going to be short here, barely. Maybe by a half a foot. It'll be 4th and inches.
Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. Picked by Antoine Winfield Jr.
And a huge return as he'll take this one all the way down inside the 30-yard line.
The one side gets an interception, but their defense comes on the field and picks them right back up by getting a pick of their own.
And I think you saw the same thing that I did, Brandon. As he ran off the field after making that play, we saw his quarterback seek him out and offer a personal thank you to bail him out a little bit as the offense takes the field again.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. So in the second quarter, he's already up over 100 yards receiving now.
And isn't 100 the magic number for a really good game for a receiver? So he got a chance to really shatter that and have a profound effect on this game.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A great effort there with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half, as his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further. And again, it's no good. A few boo birds coming out as he's missed his 2nd extra point here in the first half. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off.
And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive.
And they have the game here followed by the open date on their calendar next weekend. And, Charles, this is a crew that you have to think really is relishing the opportunity to be on the couch for a few days.
Yeah, they certainly are, but let's face it, partner. They can't get caught looking ahead to that couch time while they're playing this one. They've got to take care of business first.
Running left, Achane. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. If they didn't have that penalty a moment ago, it'd be a first down. Still a nice 13-yard pickup. Line of scrimmage, the 24. This is 2nd and 6. Love. Throw right side, going to be caught here by Waddle.
And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run.
And a nice job by the two of them to not only connect on the pitch and the catch, but to carry over their practice work to the game field. They saw the adjustment by the defense, made an adjustment themselves, and picked up the first down.
Open man downfield is Waddle. He's got it.
And he'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down. Here's Love. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. That's now a pair of explosive plays in succession, both north of 20 yards.
Just picking up yardage in bunches here these last few plays. They have moved right down the field, and just like that, they're going to be set up with a 1st and goal.
First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game.
Achane.
And his rough afternoon continues. He's going nowhere again. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up 2nd and goal. Throwing. Love. And this is going to be intercepted.
Picked off by Trayvon Diggs.
Charles, not only is that an interception, it's one when you were really knocking on the door for a touchdown inside the red zone.
You're actually thinking points no matter what. At worst, you're thinking kicking a field goal and getting 3. We might look back on this in the second half and say, you remember when they didn't get points on that drive? This could cost them.
Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. They've had a very solid first half, and as we near the end of that first half, they're just looking for a little more on top of their lead right now.
And when you put together a game plan on offense, you put together what you think is going to be the best possible scenario, right? Hey, we're going to score. These are the plays that are going to do it. But you also put together your counters, meaning after they make adjustments to what you're doing, what do we have to go to next?
The adjustment to the adjustment?
Exactly. So I can't wait to see if we come out of the half, how they're going to go about doing things. Do you just keep running what you ran before, or do you go to your counters expecting those adjustments to happen?
Before that, we'll see the end here of this first half. Second and 6. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
A good job in coverage there. They took away his top read on the play, so he went through his progressions and ended up settling on his running back who scored on their last possession, but the coverage held. It goes incomplete.
on third down, he'll drop to throw.
He's got his target. That's complete.
And he's got this almost to the 40 before going out. 15 yards through the air and a first down.
Well, things are definitely going right for them here in the first half. Pick a down, any down, even third down, no problem. They get a connection there and pick up a fresh set of downs, continuing to move the ball.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
I think the best offenses love to get the ball to their running backs in open space because they have the ability to make people miss, and they also have the ability to run over people. And if you do that throughout the game, after a while, they might just run through some of those tackles and go a long way.
Well, we saw him shed a nice tackle on that play. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really.
They tried to throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. They'll send a receiver here in motion right.
And he'll get it here on the touch pass. Now he's loose down the middle of the field.
Touchdown, Houston. A big play there with his second touchdown here in this first half.
And the Aviators continue to pull away here in this first half.
Extra point hugged the upright a bit, but he gets it to go. And a rout is on here in this first half. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away.
And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive.
Well, things for them, just to put it bluntly, man, it has been tough sledding here in the first half, facing that big deficit. The clock is dwindling now.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today.
Picked up by Andre Sisco.
And the return here will go to the 31-yard line.
An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And he's got his man on the out route. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. That one good for 16 as the drive continues.
And I believe they've buzzed down. They're going to take another look at this play with all reviews coming from the replay official here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
They'll look to throw. And he's not able to get away. Sacked back at the 22. They'll wind up losing 8 on the sack there, and it's 2nd down. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. Back to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And seeing nowhere to throw, he chucks this one away from harm. Incomplete. Now it's 3rd down.
What a sequence there defensively. You get the sack to move him to 3rd and long. Then here, just nothing available. And he's got to throw it away.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
He'll drop to throw. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
And that's where you're counting on a receiver's size being an advantage. They were hoping he could go over the top of a smaller DB and haul that one in. A good thought, but that time it didn't work out.
Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Now on fourth down, out comes the field goal unit here. And this a 39-yard attempt. And the 11-year veteran bangs it through. So he's been automatic to this point of the season, and he connects on the field goal there.
And what a luxury it is to have a kicker you can depend upon, partner, because he hasn't missed all year long. Converts on that one as well. And kudos to you. You didn't jinx him.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Final play of the half, Love. In trouble, and he's taken down. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is second and long. A final shot before break. Love. Looking deep downfield. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. And that'll do it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. Well, certainly not what they wanted out of the locker room here as they'll start defensively at the 40-yard line. They've got good starting field position as they come up here first and 10 at their own 43. Lamb will go in motion. And they'll run on the inside handoff. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43.
Well, partner, I don't think it's any secret that any running back wants to be able to see a hole open so that he can gallop through it. But in this case, he had to slow down. There was really no hole there. And he took a big hit in order to get that 1 yard.
Second and 9 now. He's going to air one out. And this is taken in at the 5. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A great play there. 57 yards. And the Aviators come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. The extra point up and good. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. To throw now, here's Love. Open man is Waddle, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. An excellent pickup of 20 yards. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. And 22 more yards there and another first down. Now they'll send Waddle in motion left. Love looking to throw it. That's going to be caught by Waddle. So just 3 yards on the completion there, and it'll be second down.
When you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads deep. He's got a man, complete, and it's caught. Touchdown. 25 yards for the touchdown. And the Antlers are able to eat in just a bit to this sizable deficit. Point after, right down the middle. So they do get one score back, but still a long way to go here in the third quarter. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And they're going to mark that where it went out of bounds, so really good starting field position up past the 40-yard line. So good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 42. And now here's a carry heading left. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. 42 yards rushing for him now with a couple of touchdown runs to boot.
Brandon, I think you and I were both raised the same way in the game of football. You run to set up the pass, but I think we've discovered in this NFL, a lot of teams pass to set up the run. And that's what they've done throughout this game. They've aired it out, thrown it.
Oh, he sheds himself free. He's into space past the 25. He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy of the 20. 25 yards there on the catch and run. Well, those backups on the sideline, they got to be eagerly anticipating the fourth quarter upcoming. Look at the size of the lead, how they're moving the football. This defense really struggling and giving up plays like we just saw.
Yeah, Stars have certainly done all they've needed to in this one, haven't they? But my question is, will he be able to resist the urge to continue to run things up a bit and get his main guys a few bonus stats before he calls them off the field?
Here's 2nd and 10. They'll set up a throw. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Well, after watching him ring the bell that many times and put the ball in the end zone, throwing it, you had to figure they had to bring some type of pressure. They had to change things up on defense.
And able to get to him, put him on the ground, so maybe just something to throw him off a little bit.
Yeah, that had to feel a lot better for the defensive guys. They've been getting carved up in this one to finally knock him on the...
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Well, to be blunt, not a whole lot has gone right for this defense in this ball game, but that's something right there. Still in the third quarter, it would take something around miracle territory for a comeback, but maybe that's a start, Charles.
It certainly is, and they're definitely showing that there's some fight still left in them. Hasn't been a banner day, but they're trying their best to put that disappointment behind them and find ways to make plays. And there's another stop. One of the league's best defenses is certainly bringing it again this week.
Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10. To pass, here's Jordan Love. Complete to right. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 11 yards there, first down.
There's a nice pickup right there, and after watching that play, I'm thinking about all the lost opportunities that they've had so far in this game. But right now, just focus on continuing to move the ball the way they did on the last play.
And now here is another interception. And this one will be returned to right around the 38-yard line. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his second interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ballgame, I would have said never, not in a million years. But here we go. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure if you're a back, you spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
From the 44-yard line, here's a 2nd and 5. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. He had a great strong move, but he'll still be stopped shy of midfield.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
Putting pressure on the guy throwing the football is always good, but when you can couple that with contact on him that leads to an incompletion, as we just saw there, that's winning football.
And in their own territory, needing only a few inches, they're going to line up to go for this thing on 4th down. They'll try and throw for it here. He shakes him off. They only needed a few inches, but still some anxious moments there, but they do convert on 4th.
Evident there that he learned his lesson from the last drive. No way he was going to force a throw that time. When nothing broke open, kept it, and ended up running for a 1st down himself.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. And this one is incomplete.
I certainly like the idea. You're down on their side of the field. Get your big play guy involved. That time, they put one up for him to see if he can pull it down in the end zone. But the coverage was good, and it winds up incomplete.
He'll try again with the arm here on 2nd down. Hit as he throws there, incomplete. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
Back to throw here. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is a defense that's certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
The 3 straight incompletions, they don't care. That hasn't dissuaded them. They're going to go for it on 4th. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he's going to be marked down just inside the 35. A gain of 12 on 4th and 10, just enough for the conversion. And defensively, an opportunity slips away. So now following the roll of the dice, they've got a 1st and 10 inside the 35. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Throwing right, and that's complete. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Another nice gain, 16 yards there, and a 1st down again.
This is just more of the same. This defense has had no answer on a lot of these throws. They've let these receivers run wild, and here's another completion for good yardage.
And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15, a gain of 3. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
Here's 2nd and 7. He'll look to throw. This will be caught at about the 6. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. 50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a first down.
It's all pretty simple sometimes, isn't it? Go where the defenders are not, and he does exactly that. Makes a nice catch to move the chains. Defense got to find a better way of accounting for the shorter routes that are being run against them.
It'll be 1st and goal when we come back. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. They'll look to throw here. Now they go screen. It's complete. And he's going to be taken down, but there's a penalty flag in the backfield. Is this a hold, or did they rough the quarterback? So the ball's moved to about the 1 after the penalty, 1st and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown of the game, number 9 on the season. And the Aviators add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. Now for the point after. And this is off the left, upright, and through. A trick shot there, but a point is a point. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this 4th quarter. Throwing left side here, and it's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 23 yards on the play. Well, I mean, look, obviously there's no 20 or 30-point play in that playbook, but they can try to end things here on a positive note despite trailing big, and that looks like what they're trying to do here by pushing the ball downfield.
Well, let me go with the heavy cliche then, partner. Just control what you can control right now, and all they can control here is how their final plays develop.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Now Love. Here's a diving catch right side. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling. Now, fourth quarter, certainly not enough time for a comeback, but nice to see them making use of the time remaining to try and make this one a little more respectable.
Yeah, I think the ultimate goal, good execution, be crisp, be sharp, and find a way to put some points on the board to make this thing look just a little bit better.
They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another first down at will. Going back to Love. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Love now. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Third and goal, trying to make that scoreboard at least a little more respectable. Throwing. Love. And it's caught. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill from 4 yards out. And the Antlers get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this fourth quarter deficit. And CD, they just haven't had a whole lot to cheer about here. But it may be cliche, but give them credit for this. They've continued to fight and scratch and claw, and they get the touchdown here in the fourth quarter.
And I'm okay with that cliche, all right? Maybe it'll alleviate the sting a little bit because at least they can look in the mirror and realize they fought all the way through. Horrible game for them, not one they'll want to remember, but at least they'll keep their heads up and have some pride when they leave the stadium.
Extra point splits the uprights as they make the score just a slight bit more respectable here in the final quarter of play. And whistle blown, a timeout here is taken, and it's taken by the kicking team. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And it looks like this one won't work out. Hands team able to secure the football. Well, CD, you understand. I mean, they're so eager trying to get back in this game here in the fourth quarter, but they touched that one a little too early before it went 10 yards.
Brandon, in such a high-stakes scenario, everyone's feeling the pressure on this play. The special teams coordinator, which one is he going to pick in terms of kicks? Can the kicker execute it? Can the team wait for 10 yards? So many variables, and in this case, they didn't get it done.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. Down to about the 37.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
So from the 37, here's second down and 8. The play action fake. They'll look to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. Well, their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy because that gives them all a chance to pad their stats a bit. But as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out because this one, it was over a long time ago.
So the false start certainly doesn't help matters as they'll try again now, 3rd and long.
Now back to throw.
And they're going to move it down inside the 25. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a first down.
They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, this is a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. They'll look to throw now on first down. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line. That one will set him back nearly 10 yards here on first down on the sack. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he'll be marked down at the 26 with a gain of 7.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back. They've got a third down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away.
We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down.
Out of the gun now on third down.
That is caught. And he's going to be marked down just outside the 10.
They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down.
Well, there's absolutely been no stopping this offense today. They already have the big lead, obviously. Here in the fourth quarter, they could coast to the end, but right now they're not passing up any chances to put up some garbage time yardage.
And, partner, why would they? Because who knows the next time you'll be playing as well as you have today. When you're in that zone, you go ahead and take full advantage of it. You don't worry about your opponent. You just worry about what you're doing.
Now it looks like he'll throw here. They'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. And he's able to get this down to the 5-yard line before he's out of bounds. That will go as a pickup of 7 on the 7th play of the drive.
And good yardage there on first down, because sometimes all you need to do on the screen is get one key block. That might set your man free, and that was pretty good pursuit to the football defensively, or it could have gone for more.
2nd and 3 with the ball sitting on the 5. Here's a handoff out of the gun.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Extra point attempt to follow here. And his kick is good, and flags fly as well. Some frustration showing through right now. This is going to be a roughing call.
Well, things obviously not going their way. Trailing here in the fourth quarter, and that penalty going to go ahead and give the other side some extra yardage.
We all know it's an intense game and things can get heated out there. That's part of the battle. But bottom line, you got to keep your cool. That was not an example of doing that.
Now
After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. And not willing to risk a return, this ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And just looking ahead, it would appear that that bye week is coming at the right time. They'll have 2 weeks to chew on this one, though probably not one that they want to chew on. A poor performance.
And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. And he'll be brought down at his own 10-yard line.
Well, they've got the huge lead. Now they have another interception on the defensive side. Seems like everything they touch in this one, Charles, turns to gold.
And they have to be awfully happy right there to get what appears to be one more for the road. It helps seal away one of their best efforts of the season.
They go play action here on first down. He's going to float this one deep right side.
And this is dropped. Oh, my goodness. There was no one around him, but he took his eye off it, and it falls incomplete.
And that's one of the few things that has not gone right for this offense so far. They've had their share of big plays. That was nearly another. But somehow, he just couldn't squeeze it.
From the gun, he'll hand this off.
And he'll find some room to get this up to about the 14.
4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a third down.
That second down play call was not to pick up the first down. It was to accomplish what they did, to get them into a manageable third down, because they had incompletion on first down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
Now a 3rd and 6.
They're going to look to throw.
Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete. Well, up big here in the 4th quarter, up really big. That passing incompletion, I don't think they needed the completion, but, Charles, this is an offense right now that they're just having fun. They're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't need a completion. They certainly don't need any more points, but they're not going to turn them down. They're going to continue to run what they have in their playbook, and they still want to run it efficiently.
Looking to throw.
He's got his target. That's complete.
And he almost gets this to the 30, taken down about a yard shy. How about them biting off 15 yards there on the 4th down attempt and keeping the drive alive? They'll look to throw here on first down. And it's incomplete. They're still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over.
Charles, a lot of happy faces heading into the tunnel as this